Welcome back to Ask Ornstein. This week we're doing things a little bit differently. It's a predictions special. There were a whole range of great questions from you guys, and I've picked a handful to offer my thoughts on. Thanks to everyone who got involved, and to have your questions answered going forward, make sure you've subscribed to The Athletic and we'll give you a link to post them in. Talking of subscriptions, there's still time to sign up for just £1 or $1 a month for 12 months. Head to theathletic.com/Ask Ornstein. That offer runs until the 4th of December. There's plenty for you to get stuck into on the website and app right now, including my interview with the Arsenal legend Freddie Ljungberg. But as for this week's show, we're going to discuss the biggest potential transfers in 2021, which Premier League manager might be fired first, whether Mauricio Pochettino will return to the English top flight next year, and much more. Support for Ask Ornstein is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code ASK, that's ASK, at checkout. Okay, let's kick off with Omar, who says put your neck on the line and predict the 3 biggest summer transfers in 2021. Well, it kind of depends, Omar, if by biggest we're talking about transfer fee or the sort of publicity around the deal. But I get what you mean, and I'm pleased you said the summer, because I do think January will be relatively quiet. We may see somebody like Dominik Szoboszlai on the move with his low release clause, or some deals brought forward to the winter, such as a Deo Upamecano, for example. But I think the summer is where it's at, and I can't look much further than Kylian Mbappe out of contract at Paris Saint-Germain in 2022, the same summer as Neymar, by the way, so they'll need to decide, can they renew his contract or will they cash in? We've seen the reported interest from Real Madrid, but can they afford him? Similar financial questions of Barcelona, the Premier League will be watching. Jadon Sancho didn't get his deal last summer with Manchester United. Will he this time around? He's under contract at Borussia Dortmund until 2023, so they will be relaxed, but this is definitely one to watch. Lionel Messi, is he or isn't he going to leave Barcelona? If he becomes a free agent, clubs such as Manchester City are sure to try and sign him, but it's a big if, and the more people I speak to suggest he might well stay at Barcelona after all. Jack Grealish, I'm quite interested in this situation because despite his new contract at Aston Villa, I think if the right money and offer came in for Aston Villa and for him from a Champions League club, then there could possibly be a deal to be done. We've talked about the interest from Manchester City. We've seen all the links to Manchester United, so let's see how that develops. Eduardo Camavinga of Rennes is a player who so many people talk to me about, just 18 years old, but he's also out of contract there in 2022 and clubs are watching him. We've got the David Alaba situation, but that wouldn't be a big transfer fee, it would just be a big deal in terms of magnitude. So if you had to boil it down to 3, I would probably say Mbappe, Sancho, and maybe Grealish, with notable mentions for the likes of Upamecano, Camavinga, Messi, and maybe even Neymar. Next up, it's Jay. Which Premier League manager do you think is the most likely to get sacked first? It is a bit surprising that it hasn't happened already, Jay, and I'm pleased about that because I don't want to see any manager losing their job, but you assume it will happen at some point, so it's probably best to look towards the bottom of the table. Sheffield United have not won a league game this season, 1 point from 10, they've lost all of their last 5. Chris Wilder has done an amazing job there, but we know that at this level, sentiment is in short supply. Above them are Burnley. They actually meet in a potentially decisive game. I think it's on December the 29th. Sean Dyche has had some well-documented issues with the club hierarchy. He's also been a reported target for other clubs. If those other clubs were to take him, it would cost them a lot in compensation. If Burnley were to sack him, it would cost them a lot in compensation. They have won a couple of games this season. We know what they offer. And so I don't see anything happening there for now. Then comes West Brom. That one feels on a constant knife edge with Slaven Bilic, and there was some tension coming into the season, mainly around recruitment, so it feels like it could go either way at any moment. Scott Parker I really like, but I was really worried for him earlier on in the campaign when results and performances were incredibly poor, but they have picked up of late. A massive win against Leicester City, and I think that he's in a decent position for now. So all of that considered, regrettably, I would say Chris Wilder, but I hope that nobody gets the chop. Here's one from Charlie. Are there any reports of who is in line to replace Hodgson at Palace once his contract ends next summer? Charlie, you're presuming Roy Hodgson is leaving Crystal Palace, but we don't know that for certain, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility that they decide to extend again. The only reports I've seen surrounded Sean Dyche, another manager I really like, and who I'm certain clubs such as Crystal Palace have great respect and admiration for. It's not one I know that they're pursuing, and I don't think it would be to the liking of many Crystal Palace fans. But what would? Crystal Palace, you could say, are stuck between something of a rock and a hard place. That temptation to go for something a bit more exciting. They did gamble in the past with Frank de Boer. That didn't go well, and they've since swung back in the opposite, a more pragmatic direction. What sort of names might fit the bill? Perhaps the likes of Rafa Benitez, Eddie Howe, Nigel Pearson, a name who constantly comes up to me in conversations with people around these sorts of jobs is Christophe Galtier, who did really well lower down the French league with St Etienne and is now doing really well towards the top with Lille. If I was to stick a name out there, maybe I'd say Rafa Benitez, just for the intrigue of what he could do with a club like Crystal Palace. A question from Samuel. Is there a chance Arteta doesn't make it through the season? My view, Samuel, no chance. I find that inconceivable. It would take something going cataclysmically wrong for Mikel Arteta to leave Arsenal during the campaign, and they will hope for many years to come. Of course, it's been a difficult time, pressure has been building from the outside, but I don't think that's been permeating inside, other than the pressure they put on themselves. Arteta's only been in the role for a year. It's been a couple of years of incredible change for Arsenal. There will be more bumps in the road. Whether fans like it or not, this is a period of transition still. And as far as I know, Arsenal and their hierarchy have total faith in Arteta, and many outside the club, within the game, really think he's going to be one of the future stars of coaching and management. I'm not sure about the wisdom of changing his title from head coach to first team manager, the extra responsibility, power, expectation that might put on his shoulders, but it's not really for me to judge. My personal perspective, and that I've heard from a number of other people, is that maybe Arteta needs to somewhat put the brakes on his philosophy and vision for this team, fully appreciate the tools he has at his disposal and how he wants to maximise them, whether this current set of players are able to deliver on a consistent basis what he's asking of them, and instead take a more of a horses for courses approach and let that vision and philosophy permeate sort of organically into his team over time and with recruitment. But in terms of whether Arteta could leave the club this season, I think there's absolutely no chance of that happening. Now to Rylan. Will Mauricio Pochettino be back in the Premier League in 2021? One of the most talked about people on this show, Rylan, has been Mauricio Pochettino, and as much as I'd love to see him return with an English club next year, you've got to ask yourself where. We've discussed how closely he's been watching the situations at Manchester City, Manchester United, possibly PSG, Chelsea and others. Man City have just renewed with Pep Guardiola. Man United seem to be stable for now under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. PSG could be a vacancy with so much speculation over Thomas Tuchel. Chelsea are doing well under Frank Lampard. Then you look to the likes of Real Madrid. What's going to happen with Zinedine Zidane? Barcelona, will a new president want to get rid of or keep Ronald Koeman? How about left field with Newcastle United if a takeover goes through? It seems Mauricio Pochettino would like to restart his managerial career in the Premier League. My personal prediction, which I'm sure will be proved wrong, is that maybe no, I think he might get going again in a different country. Let's finish with Warren. If you were director of football at Manchester United, who would you prioritise signing between Haaland and Sancho? Nice easy one there for me, Warren, thank you. I'm a great fan of them both. You'll remember that United tried to recruit Haaland prior to going for Sancho, so that may have indicated their order of preference at the time. And after missing out on Sancho, they did sign two young right-sided attackers, so the need for him might now not be quite as pressing. They never did that sort of thing when they missed out on Haaland, and so maybe for that reason, as well as the fact that he's a prolific goal scorer, potentially cheaper than Sancho, and United need a top world-class goal scorer in their ranks, I might go for Haaland unless I can have them both. Support for Ask Ornstein is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. The world is about to get a lot less hairy because you can now buy Manscaped products and finally use the right tools for your family jewels, like the Lawnmower 3.0 electric trimmer with its cutting-edge ceramic blade that reduces grooming accidents and keeps you feeling smooth. Its battery lasts up to 90 minutes, so you can even use it for the entire length of a football match. Then comes the Weed Whacker, your essential nose and ear hair trimmer. Both products are part of the Manscaped Performance Package that includes a t-shirt, athletic boxer briefs, deodorant, toner for, yes, down below, a wash bag to keep it all together, and a newspaper. Why? Well, why not? Happy shaving!